Air raid sirens echoed across central Israel late in the evening after Iran launched another ballistic missile toward the region, marking another escalation in the ongoing conflict between the two countries. The missile strike triggered alerts in several cities as Israeli air defense systems activated to intercept incoming threats. Initial military assessments suggested the projectile may have carried a cluster munition warhead, a weapon designed to disperse multiple smaller explosives over a wide area. Analysts say such warheads can dramatically increase the spread of damage when they detonate. Reports indicate that some of the missiles launched during the war have carried cluster munitions, which released numerous bomblets upon impact. Videos circulating on social media appeared to show large flames and smoke rising from areas where the missile struck. Though the footage could not immediately be independently verified, emergency responders confirmed that several locations in central Israel had been affected. Authorities reported damage at multiple sites across the region. One impact reportedly sparked a fire on the roof of a building in the town of Shoham, while another missile created a crater on a highway. Several vehicles were damaged in the city of Rishon LeZion. The pattern of scattered damage across different locations appeared consistent with the type of impact expected from cluster munitions, which disperse submunitions across a wide radius. Emergency teams quickly moved into the affected areas to assess the situation and secure the sites. Despite the visible damage and fires, authorities initially said there were no immediate reports of fatalities linked to the strike. The barrage was part of a continuing series of attacks. According to military reports, it marked the sixth missile launch directed toward Israel since midnight, highlighting the intensity of Iran's ongoing missile campaign as tensions continue to rise across the region. Elsewhere, the northern Israeli town of Zarzur sustained major damage after another missile struck overnight on March 13. Shortly before 2:30 a.m., residents were awakened by the roar of incoming missiles as they pierced through Israel's air defense systems and slammed into a residential structure. 7 firefighting teams were dispatched to the scene immediately after the impact.
The blast caused extensive damage to nearby homes and ignited a localized fire that emergency crews worked quickly to contain. According to Israel's National Ambulance Service, Magen David Adom, nearly 60 people were injured in the overnight barrage. Most of the victims suffered minor wounds from shattered glass and debris caused by the explosion.
A woman in her 30s was moderately wounded when shrapnel struck her in the back. She was transported to Rambam Medical Center in Haifa for treatment. Other victims were evacuated to hospitals in Afula and Nazareth for medical care. Reports from Israeli media indicated that several buildings were hit directly, leaving significant structural damage behind. Images from the scene showed damaged homes, shattered vehicles, and a large crater where the missile had landed. Rescue crews worked alongside military units to clear debris and search for additional hazards. The local council confirmed that the destruction was severe. Several homes were badly damaged, and at least one house was completely destroyed in the blast. Residents described the terrifying moment the missile struck their neighborhood. Missiles exploded on the houses. Half of our houses were damaged. Another witness described the chaos just seconds before impact. I was leaving my uncle's house in a vehicle when the missile hit this house and the one below. He continued describing the moment the explosion occurred. I felt the roof of the vehicle fall on me. Another resident recounted the devastation inside his home. I was at home. Everything in the house fell apart. Everything was destroyed. Israeli authorities said the military is investigating the circumstances surrounding the missile strike in Zarzur. Officials from the Israel Defense Forces confirmed that home front command units were operating alongside emergency responders to secure the site and assess the situation. Teams of soldiers and rescue personnel were deployed to remove debris, search for unexploded remnants of the missile, and ensure the area was safe for residents. The attack occurred during a night filled with repeated alerts across northern Israel after the military detected multiple launches from Iran. At the same time, additional sirens sounded after rocket fire from Lebanon. According to Israeli officials, Hezbollah fired more than 200 rockets toward Israel in coordination with Iranian attacks, adding further strain to the country's defense systems. Sirens were also heard in Israel's southernmost city of Eilat after the launch of another Iranian ballistic missile. Early assessments from the Israeli military suggested that the missile was intercepted before reaching its target, and authorities said there were no reports of injuries in that incident. Israel relies on a multi-layered missile defense system designed to intercept incoming threats, but the large number of missiles and drones being launched during the conflict has made interceptions increasingly challenging. As Iranian missiles continued to target Israeli territory, Israel launched a series of extensive retaliatory airstrikes deep inside Iran. Explosions were reported in Tehran and the nearby city of Shiraz as Israeli aircraft targeted what officials described as Iranian military infrastructure. Israeli military statements said several waves of airstrikes struck sites in Tehran, Shiraz, and Vows. According to Israeli officials, one of the key targets was an underground ballistic missile manufacturing and storage facility located near Shiraz. The military said the facility was used to produce and store missiles intended for future attacks against Israel. Additional strikes were reported against headquarters belonging to Iranian military and security forces. Israeli officials said dozens of Iranian personnel were present at the targeted facilities when the strikes occurred. These operations are part of Israel's wider military campaign launched earlier in the conflict under an offensive known as Operation Lion's Roar, a coordinated strike against Iranian targets that began in late February 2026. Meanwhile, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps released footage it claims showed the launch of ballistic missiles during what it described as the 42nd wave of attacks under its campaign known as Operation True Promise 4. The video shows several missiles blasting into the night sky as chants echo in the background. The exact time and location of the footage could not be independently confirmed. Iranian officials said the barrage included several missile types, including Imad, Qadr, Khaybar Sheikhan, and Fatah missiles. Some of these weapons are capable of carrying heavy warheads and traveling long distances toward their targets. Iran also claimed that suicide drones were deployed alongside the ballistic missiles. According to statements from Iranian officials, the targets included the Israeli city of Tel Aviv as well as American military bases across the region. The strikes were launched under a slogan pledging loyalty to Iran's supreme leadership, and officials said the operation commemorated what they called the martyrs of the Ramadan War. Within hours of the initial attack, Iranian authorities announced another phase of operations, the 43rd wave of missile strikes. The new assault was given a separate operational codename and was described by Iranian officials as a tribute to senior military figures who had died in earlier confrontations. Among those mentioned was the late Revolutionary Guard commander Hossein Salami. Iranian officials said some of the missiles used in the attacks were heavy Karamshah ballistic missiles capable of carrying warheads weighing up to 2 tons. These medium-range missiles can travel distances of up to about 2,000 kilometers and carry extremely large payloads.
Officials also claim that Qadr and Imad missiles equipped with multiple warheads were used during the strikes. Shortly afterward, Iran announced yet another round of attacks, the 44th wave of Operation True Promise 4, which it said targeted locations deeper inside Israeli territory.
Iranian officials said the barrage included Karamshah, Khaybar Sheikhan, Fatah, and Imad missiles aimed at locations including Kiryat Shmona and Haifa. Iran also claimed that some of the strikes were directed at military sites connected to the United States Fifth Fleet and other American installations in the region. Soon after the launches were reported, Israeli media said large explosions were heard across the greater Tel Aviv area as air raid sirens sounded throughout the city. Israeli air defense systems were activated again as missiles approached the region. The conflict between Iran and Israel has intensified dramatically in recent weeks, drawing in several countries and armed groups across the Middle East. Iran's missile campaign, carried out in successive waves under Operation True Promise 4, has targeted Israeli territory and American-linked military sites in multiple countries. At the same time, Israeli forces have continued launching airstrikes inside Iran, targeting missile infrastructure and military command centers. The confrontation has also spread to other regions. Missile and drone attacks linked to the conflict have affected Gulf states and American bases, while fighting has intensified along Israel's northern border with Hezbollah forces in Lebanon. Analysts say the frequency and scale of the attacks indicate that the conflict is entering a more dangerous phase, with both sides exchanging increasingly powerful strikes and additional actors becoming involved. Concerns are growing that the war could expand further across the Middle East. For now, the situation remains highly fluid, with missile launches, airstrikes, and retaliatory operations continuing across several fronts. The coming days will likely determine whether the confrontation stabilizes or escalates into a broader regional war.